Hi, and welcome back to the yoga series Feel and Heal, Part 5. I'm Alicia Be Well, and I am a recovering worrier. Today, I'm going to share with you a yoga practice that can help with the throat chakra. And I'll explain why I have this feather in my head as well. You know, the top two greatest fears from number one is death. And number two is public speaking. So when we talk about speaking, it also includes communication and how you respond to other people, whether that's verbally or non-verbally. So maybe someone made you feel that your voice wasn't worthy. Or maybe you are constantly talking over people or not quite listening. Or even not living your truest self in your authenticity. So if you watched the last video with the heart chakra, you remember that my aunt is represented by a feather. Keeping the heart as light as a feather is key in communicating. So speaking out of love, responding from love, whether that be verbally or non-verbally. So let's get into the yoga poses for our practice. The first pose is the sesh position. The sesh in ancient Egypt, also known as Kemet, were the scribes, the ones who recorded what was being observed so they can let us know how to use that information today, like we're doing right now. So you're going to begin with your legs underneath you, your hips resting on the heels. You're going to begin by placing your hands flat on the mat in front of you. And you're going to begin to shift forward and then bend the toes 90 degrees underneath the hips. So it's kind of like curving down here. Your hips rested on the heels. So if this is a little bit too intense for your feet, you can always come down, toes flat on the mat, and still resting those hips to heel, and heel of your feet, but also we're feeling the heel. And you're going to rest your hands on top of your knees. So the sesh position, that's one variation, and then the other one is here with those toes at a 90 degree. And the ancient scribes would sit here for hours at a time recording the history that was being taken place. And so we are going to come into this seated position, this meditative state, and just breathe here for a few breaths. And we're going to begin to place the hands down in front of us on the mat. And we're going to lift those toes up and just kind of shaking them out side to side. Maybe you place the feet down flat, kind of curling those toes backwards, opposite direction that we did before. And we're going to come back to that sesh position, resting those hands on top of the knees, heels and hips connected here. And we're going to move to a camel position. The camels were a way of transporting and still used today for transportation in Egypt. So when we talk about transporting, that is how we're communicating, how we're able to deliver messages to other people, and how we respond to messages that are being sent our way, whether that's verbally, online, or even nonverbal. So we're going to do that camel pose today, inhaling that right arm up, and exhale, bringing that right hand around the right foot. Then we're going to inhale the left arm up, exhale it behind the left foot. So we're grasping both feet here with our hands. And as we inhale, we're going to lift from our heart center. So remember to respond out of love. Inhaling as we push up, heels are coming off of the heels. And we're going to open up the throat by lifting the head. Exhale back. Stay here for a few breaths. And gently bring in your chin to your chest. And then we're going to bring the hands up as we lower down, resting our hands here. And then we're going to do that again. Inhale the right arm up. Exhaling behind us. Inhale the left arm up. And exhaling that left hand behind us. So hands are wrapped around both feet here. And as we inhale, we're going to lift up the chest, hips off of the heels. And then as we release, we're going to place the head back. So again, you can also modify it and stay here, or placing the hands back behind you and going into that back bend camel pose. So breathe in, exhale. Stay here for a few breaths. Then slowly lower down. We're going to come up with the arms as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to slowly lower the hips down and then place the hands down on the mat. And we're going to come to a nice seated position, bringing those feet back behind us, maybe giving that little massage there. And getting to that comfortable seated position. So ending our practice by reminding us to keep our hearts as light as a feather in our communication. So how we're responding, how we're speaking out, and staying true to our authentic selves. So I would like to invite you to the throat chakra meditation, all about communicating and responding in our authentic selves. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, remember that emotions are information. Thank you for joining me, and be well.